Hey everyone, let's make a super cute fall decoration with these cones. This came from Hobby Lobby. I like to have a nice finished bottom, so I know I'm adding foam to foam, but trust me, it looks better, especially if you are going to be selling these, and who likes the sound of that foam on the bottom. So I just took a piece of craft foam that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's one of those nice big poster size pieces, and use my pen. And I'm going to just take the X-Acto knife and cut a nice circle. Okay. And I'll use that on the bottom so that I don't have to hear that sound, right? And so I took the pen part. I'm going to put that up. So I'm going to glue it that way. And I'm just using my small handheld finishing, I call it a finishing, I don't know, it's cordless. I love this little guy. And add the top. Okay, so now when you see it from the bottom, you're not seeing that foam, right? Not that it's perfect, but it's a lot better than, of course, the styrofoam. Okay, so this part is going to be a little bit boring. Stay with me. You can fast forward. The only thing I encourage you to watch is the bottom, and then of course the very top. I glue throughout, and you'll be able to see that in the fast forward if you're fast forwarding, but I do knot the ends of my yarn, especially this type. Unfortunately, I don't have the skew for this exact one because I've used it several times. I don't have the what is it, skin? Is it called skin? I can't remember what it's called. I'm not a yarn person. I just use it for crafting. But anyways, I don't have that part. So I just knot the end though so that it is a little less likely to, you know, come apart here. Because this is like, it really frays, like really bad. And then around the bottom, I'm going to do glue around the entire bottom. Just so that it does not slip, it does not anything, it, you know, it stays nice and it stays nice. So right around that bottom, along the foam that I just added, I'm going to start there. And real gentle. I'm not going to pull it. Okay, I'm not going to pull it. I'm just going to set it in there. I'm not going to pull it tight or anything. I'm just going to set it down. So my first layer is going to go right on that foam, and then the next layer is going to go right between the foam and the styrofoam so that it kind of closes that gap, and you'll never know it's there until you look at the bottom, of course. But we are going to add feet to the bottom of this. If you weren't adding feet to the bottom of this, I would rather have that nice craft foam there, so it's just, again, a finishing touch. Okay, again, I told you this is going to be the boring part, but right along that edge, kind of overlap here where it's knotted so you don't really see it. It becomes just, you know, part of the whole thing here. And then the next layer, again, going to go right in between that little kind of crevice that we created here. And this is the most glue I'm going to use, and the rest, all the way up the rest, I'm going to use just teeny tiny bits, but for making sure the bottom stays, I'm gluing the whole entire thing. Now, typically, if you follow me, you know I'm a wreath maker, but I also like to decorate my home. And because I'm a typical crafter, I say, oh, I can make that, I can do that. And I saw these trees for Christmas one year. They were, I don't even know if they were decorated or not, quite honestly, but they were wrapped in yarn. And I was like, oh, that's easy. And of course, they were more expensive than I wanted to pay. So I was like, I'm going to do that myself. It does take time. I agree. But it turns out super cute. Okay, so from here, we're going to go just a little bit faster. And what I'll do is glue and wrap. And it won't stay like right where you want it, kind of. So you will have to kind of roll it down or push it down so that it stays. Now I do this 2 different ways. I do it one, which I think we're going to do. Actually, I'm not sure which we'll do. Maybe we'll do it just clean. I do it one where it's nice and clean. So it's just this way, right? One wrap around. You can see the yarn is absolutely perfectly, perfectly wrapped. And then another way is I wrap it perfectly and then go in and just kind of all crisscross, right? So it looks real cool. So either way, it kind of depends on how much yarn I have. I don't have a lot of this yarn left. So we'll see what happens or how much I have left at the end to see what we're going to do. I even debated on actually using this one because I wasn't sure if we were going to have enough, but I'm going to say either we are or we're not, and we'll deal with it, right? Figure it out. So it'll all depend on how much we have left. But I start them all the same way. They start all just like this, kind of making sure I'm rolling it down so it's staying close. The only thing is if I'm going to make it that nice and neat look, it does take a little bit more time because you're going through each and every layer and making sure it is, you can't see the tree, or the cone underneath, right? Whereas if I was doing it the other way, I could be a little less, a little quicker. So for example, I also like this color because it kind of looks like twine almost. Kind of like that. So then, kind of push it down that way. Again, it's just time consuming no matter what way you do it, no matter what. There is that really thick ribbon. Sorry, not ribbon, yarn. You can see I'm used to using ribbon. That will, take up a lot less. It's that really thick kind of poofy that they make blankets out of. Really pretty yarn. You could totally do that. And so because we're kind of not going and covering, I'm going to make sure we're going to do that crisscross and make it kind of messy, And then this one is a little bit bigger. This is almost 9 inches tall. The other ones I think are 6 inches maybe that I just showed you. So those are a lot smaller. But also, when you're making a nice little decor piece for your table, your mantle, or wherever, it's nice to have different heights, right? So that they're not all the same on purpose, right? And we're just going to make sure that we come back through. Originally, when I just first started off, I was looking for that big puffy blanket yarn, and I thought I had some cream, and I didn't, and I wanted to get this project done. So I was like, oh, this is the next best thing, except I didn't have a lot. Oops, sorry. And this little glue gun, at first when I got it, I'm just going to tell you, I was like, nope, not for me, because leaving it off the charger for even just a couple of minutes would, drain the battery or drain the charge, I guess you could say that. And I had a very nice follower who also bought it. And this plugs into the bottom, and so it becomes cordless again, or corded, and so now I love it again. So if I need to have it off the charger for a longer project, where it would be, like this would be easier to have it off the charger, of course. I could plug it into the bottom, it's really nice. I'll link that in the description of this video. So you have it. Also, I only bought it because it's really cute. My last one was also the same brand, but my daughter dropped it a couple times. So it ended up, you know, it didn't live. It didn't live. The chunky yarn ribbon, I think, is a little bit more expensive for less, of course, but you can clearly, you could tell, or you know that you use a lot less of it on these cones. And we're not using a lot, honestly, we're not using a lot in the first place. So it's not, you know, it's not like you're using a whole roll at all. You're using very little. So I made a couple already, one to go on my mantle. This one's gonna match, or not match, but coordinate the one on my mantle. And the one I showed you with the pink pumpkins, that's gonna go in my daughter's room. Then of course when we get closer to the top, even on this first layer, I'm gonna make sure I glue so that it does not move. Because that's the whole, you really don't want it to move. If I wasn't recording, I probably would have taken a little bit more time and made sure that they were closer together. And which means with this yarn and this size cone, I probably would have been gluing a little bit more than I typically would, just because this seems to roll a little bit. Again, this isn't the thin yarn by all means. It is a nice yarn. So here I'm going to go around the entire top. I'm going to glue around the entire top without hopefully getting my fingers in it too much. Let's see, I do need another glue. Where is it? I'm going to need another glue. So right around the top, I'm going every single little piece. And then I'll just coil it. Now I have taken pins and pinned it so that I know for sure it's not going to come out, and just glued the ends of the pins. You could do that. And sometimes even when my project is done, maybe I might add a couple in, because you do not see them. Just gluing that whole top. Just keep it coiled. Keep it coiled, keep it coiled. I'm going to hold on to it for just a minute. Put that in, grab my other glue. And then I also will glue it so that it coils back down. So that it coils right back down to where we want it to go, so we can keep that coiling going for the rest of the tree. So it'll be glued in. Exactly where I want it to go. we go. And then I'm not going to glue anymore until the bottom, I don't think. But I'll hold the top and we'll do the first round. We'll go nice and big. See, I got some nice big gaps in here, but I'll try to go on an angle. The whole point of this is to fill any gaps that we have. And at this point I kind of usually pick a front, pick a face, pick where my focal is going to be, which side looks the best, which side am I going to focus on, you know, and usually I'm making them for myself. Right, so I'm going to check out this side. I see some here. Come back down, and this is really cool texture. You know, it does have a messy look, but I still absolutely love it. I'm going to make sure I keep coming back up so it keeps crossing, you see. Making sure I'm looking for anything on the way up that might be needing some help here. And then I'm going to turn it again so I can see where my next layer might need. Right through there. Didn't even notice this down here at the bottom. And then cross back up, so it's like going a crisscross. Here's some right up here. And as the bottom starts to get a little thicker, you want to make sure you're matching that top and the bottom, because the very bottom will start to seem thinner, right? So I want to make sure that I think we have all the things. So let's just go a little bit more. See, now I have I can focus on the bottom here because top seems good. And I can feel that the part that I had unraveled is over with, and I'm down into the bottom of this, what was left. So I'm going to go right back down one time, and then I will tie it off. So what I'll do is I'll try to come back right to where that is so we can keep that in the back, in the back on the bottom, right? So we can keep the start and the finish in the same spot. And I'll cut, make sure I knot about the same spot where I know it's going to go, or I think it's going to go, ish. There we go, nice and tight. Double knot, just to be safe. And then I'm going to take this last inch or so, right? I'm going to glue this last inch, the whole thing. So that will be our back. Kind of just glue it in so that makes, it's not going to be the prettiest back here, but it's also the back, okay? I'm going to do the same thing over here, make sure that kind of doesn't look so floofy. Let's add some glue. There we go. So if I were to sell this, right, if I was going to put it in my shop, I'd want it to be, you know, to look the best, right? And even though we're going to say that that's the back, still want it to look good. Okay? All right. Then here's what I like to do. I like to add little feet to, or not feet, but a little riser, a little spot to the bottom. And so I like to add little feet to the bottom. Okay, so that's a little off the ground. It's a little, you know, it's a little extra cutesy. And so I'm going to just put these just like this. Okay, so just right on the corners here so that they are as spaced as possible. Okay, and I'm going to just take my glue gun. See, of course that has to happen. Take my little glue gun and glue the top. So I use my mat to keep them as spaced as possible, because you do notice if they're not, you know, if they're not spaced, and that you do notice, I notice. And so I want to make sure that they are the best as possible. And then I'm just going to go right on top. Okay. Hold. And of course I didn't put them straight in the middle, but you get the idea. If I'm looking at it from the side, I want to be able to see them as best as I can. Oh, I really didn't put them on straight. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay. We can do it just like that. That can be our middle. That can be our center. This can be our center because that looks the best. Okay, so that'll be our center. All right. Cute, cute, cute. What I do, and I've done, you can do a lot of different things, but what I'm doing for this one is a mix between some of these really cute pumpkins. Just make sure. Yep. Some of these really cute sticker pumpkins, and the sticker, they're jeweled, okay? So it's, I don't know how to explain it, but they're really cute. They're from Hobby Lobby, so we're going to use these on our tree, okay? So I'm just going to take a little bit. And we probably need to get that little piece off of there. I'm going to mind my center. I am not putting that directly in the center. I'm going to leave this as my center. I'm going to put that just off to the side, just a little bit. That's going to be the start of my, it's going to be the start, okay? I'm going to put these pumpkins on first, real big, so that they're kind of like nice and scattered, and then we'll come back in and put the leaves on. I do have 2 of these, so I might put these a little bit, not so far apart because we do have 2, but I only have 1 of these left. Okay. So let's do it that way for you. And I'm just going to take and add nice big zigzag, not in a row horizontally, not in a row vertically, just nice big, I have to do it so I can see it, sorry. Nice big pieces. Or spacing, sorry, nice big spacing. I don't want it to be right in a row, up and down, or side to side. Not up and down, not side to side. Just like you're decorating your real tree, right? If you're decorating your real tree, you want to make sure that you have, you know, spacing, nothing's in a line, nothing of the same, I should say this, nothing of the same piece, the same element is in up and down or side to side. You really want to try to make sure that they are definitely balanced in that respect. Okay, that's my center. So I'm going to go up over here. Keeping in mind I do have 2 of the pumpkins. I think they were $3.49 and then 50% off. 40% off, 50% off. There's my center. I'll go over here. It's probably too close, but that's okay. It's already there. Next one will come up right about here. So from my center, I probably put the first couple a little bit too far apart. It's all right. From my center, I want to be able to see as many as I can, right? I want to be able to see as many as possible. So, you know, I'm even taking into consideration that very, very side profile. Okay, so from here, you see I can still see this one over here just a little bit, but I can still see it. I can still see this one. Kind of probably need one right about there. This is really cute. Let's just go ahead and put that there just like that. Where's my center again? There's my center. Perfect. Okay. So there's my center. And then this is going to be our back. So let's make sure we don't neglect our back, of course. And you could, without gluing these, you would have been totally fine. You'd have been totally fine just gluing or just not gluing these. However, you know, I really like it and I want to make sure I keep it. And if I was going to sell it, I definitely want them glued. I wouldn't want them, oopsie, got a little there. I wouldn't want them just stickered on, right? So if I was going to glue, if I was going to sell it, you know, I'd want them to be a little bit more secure. So if I was going to sell it, I'd also be putting maybe a little bit more glue. I am putting only a little bit. There's my center. I'm not worried about anything else from the center. Let me just finish this from the back. And I'll leave that open for. Okay, so here's my center right there. It won't stay because we have them in the back, of course, directly in the back. And then let's go in with these cute. So I did the last one was just the leaves. And so with this one, I thought, let's mix it a little bit so that, again, it'll coordinate. We did the different color on the, oh yeah, that's cute. We did a different color yarn. And so we're going to do different colors on the, what are they? Leaves. Super cute. And these are 3 different colors. It's kind of cool. Probably a little bit too close to that pumpkin, but it's going to be fine. Worried about my center first and the center kind of line first. And then I'll go back through and do the rest and fill in on the sides. Especially since I only had 1 more of these. I wanted to make sure, obviously, that was going to be good. Okay, so from the center, that's adorable. I'm going to start going over here, kind of just placing where my thumb. And we could, and I think that's what we're going to do, we can put all the darker at the bottom and then go up to the top with the lighter. I think that would be cute too. So I think that one's the darker. And then this layer is the more coppery. Honestly, okay, so if I was keeping this for myself, for sure, I might, depending on how many I have left, I might not even have put anything in the back to save, because you know me, to save those extra leaves and just be able to do it, you know, make another one, right? So if that's my center from the front, I don't need any more. If this is my center from the front, put another one of those right here. And I'm just looking, you know, again, to make sure it kind of feels balanced and you can see them, and or you can see something. That's darling. And not even, I personally, for me, you wouldn't even have to put any more on, but just because this might not be just for me, I'm going to add a little bit more. And yes, so you're probably thinking, oh, don't you want the whole thing so that your customer, like, you know, can put it however they want? Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. But also, sometimes I do things a little bit different. Okay, that's all I have. This is perfect. I mean, it did, again, we took 32 minutes. We just created and created and created. However, it is absolutely adorable. I love how it turned out. You can do this for all of the seasons. I put for Valentine's Day, I put super cute little teensy tiny bows I found. And then you can even make little teeny tiny bows if you want. Just really, really cute. A little bit of fall, a little bit of thyme, just absolutely darling. And then I'm going to just sit it on my mantle. And then, of course, look how cute. So I have just the leaves. Where's my center? Just the leaves. And there's my other center. Look how cute that is. Absolutely darling. You could paint the feet. You could paint them black. You could paint the whole thing, the whole bottom black. I think that would be cute too. But this is what we ended up with. Super cute. I can't wait to see yours. I hope you do take this idea and create for yourself. If you do, I can't wait to see it. Make sure you comment and let me know in the description that you did try it. If you're looking for, I don't have the SKU to the yarns, but for the other things, I will at least give you a description and send you where you can go. You can see that in the description of this video. Don't forget to subscribe to us and watch our channel. I can't wait to see you again. Bye, y'all.